Hi there, everybody. This is Sarah Elise, and I'm an astrologer in Toronto, Canada. This is a very quick video going out to my newsletter community. I am recording this on Tuesday, April 18th, and we have a solar eclipse happening on the 20th of April, very early in the wee hours of the morning in the Northern Hemisphere at approximately, hold on, I had written it down, 12:12 a.m. Eastern Standard. There is going to be an alignment of the sun and the moon at 29 degrees of Aries. If you were in the Southern Hemisphere, this would be a total solar eclipse. You'd be able to see the sun eclipsed by the moon, but as it's going to happen in the middle of the night for us, we're not going to see the eclipse here in Canada and North America. It won't be visible to us. But it is an interesting moment in time. So I thought I would quickly share my screen and talk you through why I think this is an interesting one, or at least how I'm conceiving of it. Eclipses are intense times, guys, because they're always change points, right? They're always invocations of new energy. They're always kind of fluctuations in the collective zeitgeist. They always bring in something different or something new. And this eclipse is happening right on the precipice of the Nodal Axis shift that that's going to be happening in July. So the nodes of the moon change every 18 months. And since very late in 2021, the nodes of the moon have been in Scorpio, South Node, and Taurus, North Node. So the nodes are about to change to Libra South and Aries North in July, okay, around the new moon of Cancer, somewhere, depending on if you're looking at the mean node or the true node. Somewhere in those middle weeks of July, the nodes will shift. Now, what happens when the nodes shift? The entire collective zeitgeist goes through a new evolutionary pulse. So we all start learning something different. For the last year and a half, we've been learning a lot about how to feel safe in our bodies, how to move away from the insanity or the complexity or the chaos that we've been witnessing on the external, how to move away from the deep emotional intensity that we've been feeling, and how to find a sense of solid ground, or how to find a sense of safety despite the chaos that either beckons from without or within. So the south node of Scorpio to the north node of Taurus has been this real journey toward security and toward peace and toward solidity and toward security, and really essentially finding out within each one of us what really matters most, or what matters in what we value, what is intrinsic to our nature, what makes us feel safe and secure in the world. Now, when the nodes shift, there's going to be a change in the zeitgeist. There's going to be a change in the collective field. And I think that this particular eclipse that's happening at 29 degrees of Aries is a precursor to that change, because this is an quote unquote out of sign eclipse, right? The nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio, yet the eclipse is happening at 29 Aries. This is also an out of the normal new moon, because we had a new moon in Aries just 4 weeks ago. So on March 21st, I wanted to show you this chart. On March 21st, we had a new moon of Aries at 0 degrees of Aries. You can see the sun and the moon are connecting here at 0 degrees of Aries. Now, 4 weeks later, we're having a new moon at 29 degrees of Aries. That's the very first degree point for the last new moon, and the very last degree point for this new moon. Normally, this new moon would happen in Taurus, because, well, within like 6 hours of this 29 degree Aries new moon, we're turning to Taurus season, right? Like the next day, this very day, the sun moves into Taurus just hours after this new moon. So it's almost like there's this sort of a buildup of everything that's been happening in the last month is culminating. So there's this awareness that there's something completing, there's an ending, there's something that we've figured out, there's something that we've come to, and then we're beginning something brand new. So there's a precipice, or we're crossing over into something different. But this 29 degree point is a very potent one. It's considered to be an auspicious degree, the very last degree of a sign, and anaretic. It's called the anaretic degree, and it's it's about the fullness or the completion of the archetype. So I wanted to kind of talk about what I've been experiencing and what it feels like to me has been going on in the collective, or at least in my experience, relative to the sky in the last few weeks, and you see if it resonates for you. Okay. So one of the things that I noticed at the new moon of Aries that happened on March 21st, is that, and this, this next new moon will be happening on the 20th, right, of April. So on March 21st, it set into motion this experience of needing to come into contact with the essential self. And Neptune was conjunct the new moon, and Chiron and Jupiter were conjunct each other at that new moon. And these are both spiritual indicators. So Chiron and Neptune both playing very strongly with the energy of the lunation, indicated that the last lunation was quite mysterious in its intent. So what I noticed was that immediately off the gun of the last new moon, there was an awareness of all the ways that my quote unquote self was out of alignment with universal flow. And there was this invitation to come into authenticity at a very, very deep level and heal, quote unquote, my wound, the ego wound, or the parts of me that were egoically sort of all in charge, right? And to settle back into more of a feeling of trust and a feeling of faith that that we're all connected here and that there's no separation between ourselves and the universe at large, to feel a sense of grounding, which is very unusual for an Aries new moon. It was quite an antithetical to what I expected the lunation to bring. It was more of a settling down, or a coming in, or a sitting in a different position in the authenticity of what I am, and what we essentially are, which is God in a body, right? And the God in a body transit has been ongoing for a long time, with Uranus and Taurus working its magic, particularly since last summer, when Uranus and Taurus at 18 degrees sat on top of the North Node in Taurus and started to initiate us into this deepening and this embodiment and this authentication within our bodies, right? This illumination of our embodiment. And I believe that this new moon at 29 degrees of Aries that's coming on the 20th of April is, in a way, allowing us to reflect on the journey since last summer. Uranus at 17 Taurus is coming conjunct Mercury at 15 Taurus. And we have, the very culmination of the Aries archetypes of the 29-degree Aries, and with Jupiter only 5 degrees off. So it's almost as though we've come into a different relationship with ourself now. We understand ourself relative to the whole, and relative to our spirituality, and relative to our sense of belonging or our sense of connection. And at this new moon, we get a chance to really say, yes, this is me. This is my authenticity. This is what I am. This is all I need. I can rest and believe in myself completely, and I can receive information intuitively that tells me about what I need to do next, or where I need to go to secure myself on my path, right? We're moving into the month of Taurus, which is about security and values and productivity. And so at this moment, at this new moon, it's almost like it's like an invitation to acknowledge the growth that you've gone through in the last 4 weeks, certainly, but also in the last 8 or 9 or 10 months since the Uranus on the North Node happened. And to acknowledge how much more authentic you feel, how much more grounded and real you feel, and then to stabilize into a willingness to be 100% radically yourself, so that you can grow out from this place and produce and extend into the world, into this Taurean month, into this productive month, into this earthy grounded month, so that you can manifest yourself into this next lunation cycle. So for myself, it's been a wild ride these last 4 weeks of leaning into radical trust, that Pisces, Neptune, right on the new moon last time, just opened up this unbelievable acceptance of all of life as part of God, or all of life as part of the mystery, and my connection to it, all of our connections to it, as being natural and normal and real and authentic and trustworthy, right? There's no separation here at all. There is never, ever a need to feel afraid. There is an incredibly expansive consciousness that's available to us all the time if we choose to step into it. And so this last 4 weeks has been like deepening and deepening and deepening and deepening that understanding. And now we get to truly lift off from wherever our deepening has taken us, from wherever our deeper level of understanding has taken us. Now we can anchor into that, believe in ourselves, truly, really take a step, and then make a decision to acknowledge that, to break your old mind frame, to break your old stories, and to sit in the authenticity of who you are, and to receive that. You know, Mercury conjunct Uranus is like a higher mind indicator. So when lower mind and higher mind come together, Mercury being lower mind and Uranus being higher mind, when they come together, there is the intuitive gate opens. You receive information. It's like pennies from heaven dropping down. You get information, you get downloads. And that's what this new moon is about. With Jupiter on the new moon in Aries, it's a belief of the self, an acknowledgement of your authenticity, of your individuated self, and then a willingness to receive information about what is valuable, what matters to you, so that you can step off into the next cycle confidently. And as I said before, it is a precursor to when the nodes of the moon will shift to Libra Aries in July, because we're going to need to take this authenticity, we're going to need to take this individuated self forward. That's going to be our big lesson over the next nodal cycle, is to step into ourself authentically and to have brave, courageous willingness to be who we came here to be, and to confront life, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if we're scared, even if we'd rather hide and make nice, or make peace, or make harmony, or lie, or be disingenuous, that we're going to have to resist that. So here's your opportunity. I invite you to acknowledge and witness yourself, the growth that you've gone through, what's bringing you into the now. I invite you to receive information and intuitive guidance about what matters to you, what your values and goals should be, and what you're going to need on the planet in this next while to keep yourself safe and productive. And celebrate this wonderful eclipse, because it's such a potent gate that's initiating us into the next cycle of our evolution. So enjoy. Thanks, everybody. Bye.